What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back. The Kansas City Chiefs are trading L'Jarius Sneed to the Tennessee Titans for a 2025 third-round pick, as well as a 2024 seventh-round draft pick in exchange. Not the haul Chiefs fans were hoping for the perennial shutdown corner. But when we put this into perspective, the market for a 27-year-old cornerback with a history of knee problems isn't going to garner as much interest in the open market, especially when we consider the teams aren't looking to help our back-to-back Super Bowl champion Chiefs out. Sneed getting 19 plus million a year is unprecedented for a cornerback of 27 years old. Those types of contracts tend to go to the younger guys coming off rookie contracts of about 25-year-old range. I could have seen the Chiefs bite on Sneed at that price if he was a couple years younger. They obviously know what they have in the building and have a strong plan for replacing him. After the Jones deal, it was an inevitability that the Chiefs would need to move on from Sneed. The Chiefs were in a financial bind. Sneed is not easily replaced. His physical presence on the outside cannot be understated. The Chiefs have been great at drafting and developing cornerbacks, and Sneed is in the prime example of a former fourth rounder becoming one of the best shutdown corners this league has. I am confident that the Chiefs have a plan this whole time, but they have accounted for that salary cap hit, and now they are looking to get some much needed extensions done. One in particular I would love to see getting done is Creed Humphrey. Wrapping that guy up long term would be so important. Rumors are also swirling that they could be looking at extending Trey Smith and Nick Bolton as well. We shall see. Perhaps this makes room to get another deal done for maybe Mike Dana or even Donovan Smith. We all know the Chiefs will need to shore up those holes on the O-line, D-line. As for the secondary, we are going to see right away what Spags has up his sleeve. Perhaps Sneed was more of a byproduct of the defensive mastermind. Hard to say. Sneed was lights out this year, playing and shutting down some of the league's best wide receivers. He made Tyreek Hill's days very unpleasant in the both meetings they had this year. It will be very hard to replace Sneed. Trent McDuffie was great, and he is no shutdown corner, by the way. He may be forced to play the outside now. He just won't be the same imposing threat. Watson and Williams have played well and should continue to be leaned on. This could be a clear indicator that they may be targeting a cornerback with the first pick in the draft at 32. I am more intrigued about the draft now, and I just can't wait. With a month, what a month that has been, Chiefs Kingdom. Like always, on today's show, we will cover all the breaking news, and we will go over a recap of all the free agency that happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and then we will start our spotlight series, starting with the new offensive weapon the Chiefs picked up this week in free agency, and a Marquise Hollywood Brown, and that is the deep dive we will be breaking down is Marquise and how he will impact the main playmakers for the Chiefs like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Rashee Rice. I'm Grindberg, and I'm a proud member of the Undroppables, bringing you episode 6 of the Chiefs Uncovered on the Undroppables Network. The fantasy football season never stops. Did you know you can already draft for the 2024 season on Underdog Fantasy? The easiest place to play fantasy football. The big board is a pre-draft fantasy football contents with all the incoming rookies in the player pool. Draft your team in 20 rounds and that's it. Best ball format, you get the optimal score to fill your starting lineup. A great way to get your dynasty startup draft fix without any league management. Only $10 to enter and over $2 million in prizes up for grabs. Be sure to sign up for Underdog using promo code UNDROPPABLES and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. That's promo code UNDROPPABLES. And now back to the show. Now we have some more news to get over. So Mike Edwards signs with the Bills. Former Kansas City Chiefs safety is the newest member of the Buffalo Bills, signing a one-year deal with their hated rivals from the AFC East team on Wednesday. Edwards, 27 years old, was a significant part of the Chiefs Super Bowl run a year ago. The Chiefs signed him as a late free agent addition last offseason, and Edwards played in all 17 regular season games for the Chiefs in 2023. He added an interception and 2 forced fumble recoveries. Edwards intercepted Miami's Tua Tagovailoa in the Chiefs' first playoff game, and he figures to be, a bigger part now for the Buffalo Bills and not on our team anymore. So Cook figures to be healthy starting the season. And, fourth round rookie Chamari Connor could also play safety and is earning increased playing time now as well. So we'll see what happens there in the safety position. Not a huge surprise for us losing Edwards, but, got a little bit of depth there. So Derek Natty resigns with the Chiefs. They retained another one of their unrestricted free agents this week by resigning him. He's been, one of the biggest players on the defensive line in each of the last 6 seasons, appearing in 98 games with 86 starts. He appeared in all 17 regular season games and one of the postseason contests last year. So 27-year-old is one of the several players the Chiefs re-signed in recent days. So that's a big, big step in the right directions for that defensive line. Also, another defensive lineman that they also re-signed was Tershawn Wharton. We talked about that a little bit last show when that news came in. But also long snapper James Winchester was also retained. So we will see how that shakes out now. Now, we're going to get into just a quick recap of what has happened in our Chiefs kingdom in the last 3 weeks here, and that's the free agency recap. Pardon me. The Chiefs signed All-Pro defensive tackle Chris Jones. We talked about that last week and how impactful that was. Also, Marquise Hollywood Brown on Thursday was another huge signing for the Chiefs, and we will get into him on our deep dive. So what a week for us. We talked about it in the earlier session of this show, was Sneed getting traded to the Titans. We knew that was going to happen. It's a tough one to replace him. We shall see what happens there in free agency and in the draft. I cannot see the Chiefs bringing in a free agent cornerback. I think it's, will be building within and then drafting. Talked about Willie Gay and the hole he's going to leave on our linebacking core, but luckily Drew Tranquill also signed with us again. So with a $13 million guaranteed money and a $19 million contract, love having Drew Tranquill back. Super versatile linebacker who can play all spots on the line. And we talked about that in depth last week with Daniel Harms. What a great addition he was and is continuing to be on that Chiefs linebacking core. Irv Smith, we talked about him again last week, and Dion Bush also re-signing with the Chiefs here. So got a couple, playmakers that could happen. Nick Allegretti, we all talked about his incredible playoff and how much he'll be missed this offseason with the Chiefs going to, where did he sign with? I think it was the Bucks, and good on him. But we'll see what happens there on that position with the offensive line. It's going to be some holes there to fill for sure. And then Mike Pennell, also who re-signed with the Chiefs, 33 years old, just a kind of a depth piece there. So we will see what happens now as the Chiefs get into the latter stages of free agency. And, so much movement in the last 3 weeks. I couldn't have predicted all of it, but there was some pretty surprising things like the Marquise Brown move. So we will get into that in our first player spotlight on the Chiefs Uncovered. So I'm really happy to be bringing this segment onto the show because, we're going to be diving deeper into certain players, the impact they've had on our team, and what they may have on our team moving forward. So we'll pick a player or two every show moving forward in the next little while in the offseason as the news is not so heavy, and then we'll deep dive into them. So get us a little bit more familiar with them and what they do for our team, and moving forward, what their outlook shall be. So let's dig deep in our first player spotlight. Yeah. Finally, we got our wide receiver that can stretch the field, huge splash plays, and, we're ready to go here for Hollywood Brown to be joining us late on Thursday night last week, leaving many in suspense as they were going to bed like myself. I had a hard time falling asleep that night because my adrenaline was going. Yeah, buddy. Hollywood Brown signs a 1-year deal with our Chiefs. It gives the back-to-back Super Bowl champions a legit threat that can finally stretch the field. It gives them a much-needed veteran presence weapon outside of the, Travis Kelce and rising star Rashee Rice. It's great news. When the Chiefs brought him in, the former Baltimore Raven was selected at the 25th overall in the 2019 NFL draft, making him the first wide receiver selected that year. So he adds another first round wide receiver to our receiving core. We're known to bring in these outcasts, and hopefully we can make a change in Marquise Brown's career for the better, and see what he can get from us there. Brown caught 46 passes for 584 yards and 7 scores in his rookie year. So that was a good year. Brown recorded 91 receptions for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2021 in Lamar Jackson's, MVP season. And that was a big year for both Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown. And that was the best quarterback play that Marquise Brown has had. And back then, in 2021, Lamar wasn't as an experienced passer. He wasn't as, tuned in. He didn't have the weapons around that he does now. He's now going, Marquise Brown, to the Chiefs. He's going to the best quarterback he'll ever play with in his career. Should be wheels up for Marquise Brown in that offense. I don't think him coming in and he's going to, becoming the, a wide receiver one or anything like that, but he'll be a very, very good addition to our team. The 5'9", 180-pound wide receiver caught 51 passes for 574 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 14 games last year, despite playing without Kyler Murray for most of the season. He had Clayton Tune throwing him the ball and Joshua Dobbs, just a mess kind of a quarterback situation. He needed a facelift. He needed a new environment. Overall, Brown, had a decent reign in Arizona, but now he's back. Now he's with the Chiefs. So, those are all great stats and all, Grindberg, but what does that mean for our Chiefs? Okay, well, one thing that jumps out to me is Brown's obvious speed. He's evident, he ran a 4.27 40-yard dash in his pro day in 2019. He was a former track star. He is a deep threat. In fact, he had a 1,000-yard campaign like we talked about in 2021. He's very, very, very lethal at times. So, hopefully he has some of that back in his arsenal. He's going to be a playmaker. He's going to open things up for Rashee Rice, for Travis Kelce, And, he's going to give Patrick Mahomes a more sure-handed wide receiver in the those deep routes that we've been missing all year. We've been missing it in our drops. We've been missing it in the deep threats. Mahomes's deep throws was lacking last year, and I think this is going to be a very, very good addition. And then we'll see what the draft brings. So, what impact does that have on Patrick Mahomes bringing in Marquise Brown? You ask. Well, let's go over that. Patrick Mahomes, he won his third Super Bowl in 6 years, taking home MVP honors for the third time, cementing himself alongside Tom Brady and Joe Montana as the best to ever play the position. In a Super Bowl of ages, like a true champion, Mahomes took his team on his back and led them to a perfect 13-play, 75-yard game-winning final drive. Mahomes capped it off with a 3-yard touchdown pass to Mecole Hardman. At 28, Mahomes is 15-2 as a starter in the playoffs, throwing for 46 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions, and is now tied third all-time with most Super Bowl wins by a quarterback. By winning his third Super Bowl MVP award, Mahomes moves into elite company alongside Joe Montana for second all-time. At this stage of his career, it is hard not to put Patrick Mahomes in the conversation for GOAT at the quarterback position, and he is now getting a huge upgrade to his wide receiving core. He played last year with arguably the worst offense he'll ever have to play with in his entire career, and they still won a Super Bowl. Adding Marquise Brown to the mix gives Mahomes the best receiving room he has had since Tyreek left in 2021. Mahomes had the most drop passes in 2023 with 35. Marquise Brown only had one drop pass last season. Brown isn't great at creating separation or is not a good contested catch guy, but playing with Mahomes should give him a lot of opportunity in open space. Let's not forget the past 2 seasons, Marquise Brown was playing with backups. And since Kyler was injured, it wasn't a good situation. Mahomes now has one of the best defenses in the league and has been given another lethal weapon on offense. Once again, is in the consideration to being the best quarterback in the league. He'll be back there next year. I can guarantee that with this team now. This is an even more scary team and an even more scary Patrick Mahomes, which is very, very hard to believe, and it is putting the league on notice now, folks. All right. Well, what's going to happen to Travis Kelce? Is he going to fade away into dust like the old man that people see he is? I don't think so. Let's dive into Kelce. So, some think that bringing in Hollywood Brown is not great news for Travis Kelce. Some think Kelce has one foot out the door at his age of 34 with his aging body, with all those aches and pains. You add into this that his brother, his podcasting brother, Jason, just retired, and his lackluster 2023, in which he's seen his worst season in the last 8 years. Some think Kelce is going to be not as dominant force as he's been in recent years. With the surge of talent at the youth and the position around him, people think that Kelce cannot be a game changer at the position anymore, and that his days as being an elite tight end are numbered. You know what I say to that? I say bullshit. I think that it's a big load of BS and that Kelce is still rock solid, and this move will do wonders for Kelce by taking away so many of those double teams he sees in the box. Kelce will be able to be taken off the field more often to keep him fresher. In 2023, Kelce played the most snap shares he's played in his entire career. The Chiefs shouldn't need to rely on Kelce as much with this move, but that does not mean it will affect his production on the field. We will see Kelce when healthy. Look what he did in the playoffs and in the playoff push in the deep run for that Lombardi trophy this year. And by keeping Travis Kelce fresh will only improve those chances of us three-peating. A great move for the longevity of Travis Kelce. He was pretty vocal last year about finding him some help. Well, help is on its way. Even more reinforcements could be coming on the way as well with a good draft. I would love to see a guy like Ladd McConkey land on the knees of the Chiefs. Get him in a Chiefs uniform. I can see Kelce having another big year with Marquise Brown and another young rookie off his newly potent Chiefs offense. So let's go, Kelce. Let's keep it going. Now, what about Rashee Rice? He was an emerging star. You're bringing in more competition for targets for him. What does that mean? Is Rashee Rice going to just fall off a cliff and go into dust? I don't think so. What's going to happen, Rashee? You tell us. Bringing in Marquise Brown will have a big impact on Rashee Rice, and I think it's going to be a good impact. It's going to improve his development. He was one of the big bright spots of the Chiefs passing game last year when they decided to actually give him the snaps, give him the ball. He finished with 102 targets, which is pretty crazy when you consider how slow his snap share started to begin the season with. His snap count increased as the Chiefs realized they didn't have anything outside of Kelce and Rice in the passing game. The last 8 games, Rice averaged 78% snap share. He should see that number continue to increase in 2024. I can see Rice averaging around the 80% snap share, which would put him in a great spot to excel in year 2. All snaps, they're not created equally. And with the addition of Marquise Brown, Rice should see less opposing teams' top corners as well. With the safeties still needing to help over to get Travis Kelce there, it should improve his lackluster ADOT from last year. Rice should have less gadget design plays and be more of a first look read, while Marquise Brown isn't the dominant receiver he once was back in the day when he played for the Ravens. He is still a playmaker, and defensive coordinators will have to account for him. Rice will also be able to learn from what Brown did his 5 years in the league, seeing all those schemes that he's been around. All of that is going to look really good for our rising star here in Rashee Rice. He doesn't play the same position as Brown. They're going to play in different spots. I love those intermediate routes for Rashee Rice. It's going to continue. I think the target share is going to only increase. It's going to be a really, really, really good news for the Chiefs as a whole. Let's go. This offense is poised to be really, really fun to watch next year. And I can only see it being even more fun to watch when we see a young rookie also get into this lineup. So, wow, that was pretty good. A lot of important stuff happened in the last 2 weeks. I'm glad we were able to, get on the show and go over it with y'all. The show is growing big time. I want to thank every one of you that is listened to the show. We had over 250 people view into the show last week, and that was super awesome. So thank you so much for that. Let us know on ways we can improve. We're always looking for ways to improve our show. So please don't hesitate to reach out, get into our inboxes. We are active on Twitter, so please get on us and, help grow this show. Our next show will be, another player spotlight. We might get 2 in, and we'll see what happens by then. We could see another wide receiver or maybe a defensive lineman enter the building. We will see on our next episode. So hopefully we'll have some news by then. That is it for episode 6 of the Chiefs Uncovered. I appreciate you tuning in. You will able to find this show and other uncovered series on the Undroppables Network. We have a bunch of teams going right now, and we are bringing team-specific content like there's nobody's business. This is a great platform. We are rocking it good. Uncovered series is growing, so please follow us. If the Chiefs aren't your favorite team, follow your favorite team on the Undroppables Network. We are also looking for anchors to drop NFL-specific team content. Follow us on socials and find out how you can become a part of this elite team. Our turf, your content, their game. Let's go. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also follow me on X at FFCanuck99. Well, that's it for today. I'll be back next time with the Chiefs Uncovered. For everyone on the Undroppables Network, I'm Grindberg. Thanks for tuning in.